Well, Chicago's Lil Reese just got shot up. Got shot in the neck. He's actually in critical condition. Last time I checked, there was like some sort of. They said it was like a wild, like car chase. His car was shot at like 12 times, and he was shot in the neck. Critical condition. I've never actually met him. We had DM'd each other a couple of times here and there. We were talking about doing an interview, but it didn't seem like he really wanted to do it, so it never actually happened. I think he was calling himself like Chicago's Grim Reaper or something like that. So he kind of played up this image to a certain degree. Not to say that had anything to do with the shooting or anything else like that, but it's dangerous when you present this type of thing to the world.
Most definitely.
People start to actually test you over it.
True.
Yeah, the Grim Reaper. I mean, he actually got jumped back in June. There was a video of a bunch of guys basically putting hands and feet on him. He came back and talked a bunch of shit afterwards. And then this happened. Why do you think that people play up this tough guy image so much? Because this is not. I mean, I've never met him, but he's a fairly skinny guy. Doesn't seem. Not to say that he can or can't fight. I have no idea, but not a very imposing looking figure.
Them be some of the most dangerous motherfuckers.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've known different individuals that actually would dress up like old ladies and stuff like that, vagrants, all that, to get up next to people and pop them. I really knew people that did that. I heard about it before I actually met some of these people. I'm like, oh, that's real dramatic. Ain't nobody going through all that motherfucking shit. But no, really. And man, some of the people who you wouldn't even expect, mild-mannered look. Go back and look at some of the mob hit men. Some of they wasn't no big 6'4", 300-pound motherfuckers. Some of them just, look like the average Joe. Walk right up and pull that thing out and dust you off and keep on going.
Well, the boogeyman of the South is Lil J. James Prince was a fairly short guy.
Yes.
And that's one of the most feared people in the Southern Hemisphere of America.
Yeah. Right.
Not that I know anything that specifically happened. Everyone's heard stories here and there. It is what it is. Yeah. I would not personally want to cross this guy.
Nah.
I've always maintained a good relationship with his camp.
Good.
But yeah, man, those little guys are, well, I guess they have to compensate. They got to show you.
What compensation could be a part of it, but at the same time, if you really are a part of that life and that lifestyle, what else you gonna talk about? Don't matter if you big, small, you know what I mean? It don't really matter. Size don't really matter when you out in the streets and, you got that chopper or that pistol to, to stand next to you. You just as big as anybody else around you, so that's probably what it is. He probably, that's really his life and his daily get down, so. That's what he present to the world.
Yeah, I remember getting into a conversation with someone who had just done like 20 years. And I remember asking him, like, well, what's the difference between prison and the streets? And he said, well, here's the biggest thing. You got these guys out here that are shot callers, gangsters, whatever else, whatever you want to call them. They're used to shooting at people across the street, out of their car, whatever. They get in prison and they realize that in order to hurt somebody, you have to be right up on them. You got to either put your hands on them or cut them with a knife. And 99% of those guys do not want those types of problems.
That percentage is too high. I'll probably say because you got bad motherfuckers in prison. That's where most of the not nice people are. So you probably can say 70% of them don't want it.
Still a high percentage.
65, 70% don't want it. But the rest of them is like, let's go.
Let's go.
When it's going down. I'm ready. I'm finna give me another stripe. I'm finna give me another war story to talk about. So, yeah, it's, You know, it's a lot that really does take place behind the wall. You know, once you get in there, you gotta, you know, it's and people just going up under other people and they getting protected by people. It don't really work like that if that's not your camp. You know, if your camp is weak on the yard, then ain't nobody really to save you.
Well, how would it work? Okay, so let's just say a Kodak Black, right?
Mm-hmm.
He gets put in a prison. I mean, he's in the feds, right?
Yeah,
So
I
he
don't
gets
know. I don't know nothing about the feds.
right. So
I've
he
never
gets
been
put in a
there.
federal prison, and let's just say whatever clique he associates with is just non-existent in there. Could he hire some head type guy in that prison to basically say, okay, he's under my protection and everything is cool from that point on, or does it not really work that way?
Well, like I said again, I don't know nothing about the feds. Never been there. Don't know the guidelines.
Okay.
Nothing. You know how they operate in the state
Yeah.
where I've been several times. He could, but if somebody really wants you, they gonna get you and that motherfucker who talking about I got him. No, y'all stay off him or whatever. It got to be a whole, you know, it got to be a whole organization that he falls up under the protection of, because a stronger faction could just come up and, you know, knock both of y'all down, and you can't. How you gonna protect them? And you might be from a group that got 40 members that's, you know, mobbing around, and this other group got 200 members. How you gonna protect him from the 200 if they come? So he'd have to align himself with a whole, you know, established clique,
Huh.
you know, behind the wall, which probably gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? He's probably gonna, you know, take care of a couple of people. You know, hey Kodak, you know, hey homie, you know, my homies this, that, and the other. We got you. You know, I fuck with your music, and homies come fuck with us. And you know, he buy everybody TVs, and you know, put 5,000-10,000 on everybody's books, and he probably be
He'll be all
comfortable.
right.
Yeah, he'd be comfortable. If he chooses to go that route, he might be like, fuck all y'all. I ain't giving nobody shit. Do what y'all got to do, and you know, earn his respect up in there, because he don't strike me as a punk.
Yeah.
He
Well.
he don't. He just don't. I don't. You know, never met him. You know, I like one of my guys I was telling you about. I used to involve with. He sold him a dog before, and we was gonna go out there and mess with Kodak at his spot for a couple of days. But I had something to do, and he had something that he wanted to do, so we didn't go out there. But he sold him a dog, and that's the closest I came to parlaying with him. But I wouldn't fuck with him if I wasn't doing nothing, because you know I like his music, and you know he talked that shit.
Well, best of luck to Kodak Black. I never met
Best
him,
of
never been around him.
Best
Hopefully, he goes in there and comes out focused on his career and his freedom.
He will.
And he's got a son.
He will.
Yeah.
No,
That's what
because
I'm
you're
hoping.
going to have people up in there that's going to mentor him.
Yeah.
You know, really, you know, when he gets through with all the bullshit, when the dust settle and all that, you know, it's going to be like, hey, brother, you know, you need to study this. Since you this kind of person, you can go out and you ain't got to have these people in position for you. You can run this yourself, or you can put people in that position to do this, tell them what kind of books to read. So you got some very intelligent people, you know, that's sitting behind the wall, because, you know, all they do is have time to research and study things. So,
Well, right. Master
he'll
P
get
actually,
sharpened up.
Master P tried to mentor him at one point, and then like after a certain point, he goes, okay, well, why don't you sign to me, whatever? And Kodak was like, I'm not giving you any money for this, and he kind of like dissed Master P afterwards, and P was like, hey man, you know, this is a business. You know, I flew all your guys out. You know, we had some meetings, but at some point, if you want to keep working together, it has to be a business. And Kodak Black wasn't feeling that, so that was the end of that relationship. And you know, had he been under P, there's a better chance that he wouldn't be in this position. Although, you know, you could say that a lot of people under Master P did not fare very well either, like his brother and what's the other dude I actually interviewed?
I would never say nothing down on Mr. Miller. You know what I mean? Percy is another boogeyman. You know, I'm not scared of him personally, but I respect him a great deal. And he does have a tendency to make a lot of the right moves for people that's around him. And I think Kodak really would have benefited from being a part of his
Yeah.
camp. But to say, okay, we've been parlaying a couple of times, so, now come ride up under my banner. A lot of these youngsters these days got ideas to, ball like we used to have, like, I'm gonna get my own label, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. So them falling up under somebody is not really in their purview.
I feel you. Mac, that was the other rapper that was under No Limit that's in prison for murder right now as well.
Yeah, Mac was supposed. Mac had action at Getting Out. They did a special on Mac a couple of years ago, and I don't know what became of that, but Mac been down a whole lot of years now.
Well, he was sentenced to 30.
Yeah.
So he was sentenced, that happened in 2001. So technically he's going to get out in 2031, which is nowhere near right now.
Well, I think they give him 15% off or something. They gotta get some time off, I believe. But yeah, they had him on. They had his son on there speaking about him and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I hope everything turned out good for him.